hello friends. I'll put my gong on so I don't talk too much. But I will, inevitably. Good to see you. I'm up at the cottage. You find me on a particularly soggy day. A drop of Bordeaux to wash down in my Gandalf pipe. I thought I'd use my Gandalf pipe today. I wasn't going to do a video, but I had a telephone conversation with the Venerable Richard Vobes. He had taken a pause in his busy day on the land at Biggleswick Farm to talk to Father John. And he gave me the opportunity to thank him for a book that he has recently published, and I will show you a picture later. Well, I've got it here. I'll show you the book. Anyway, he mentioned in passing that he hadn't seen me on the YouTube recently, and I haven't been. I've been doing my own book, which has left very little time for anything else. But he's right. I owe it to you, my viewers, to appear spasmodically. Got to get this blessed thing to work now. I should have brought a pipe cleaner up with me. I haven't used it in a while. My Gandalf pipe. I used to smoke this when I was reading Lord of the Rings. But it's a very soggy day. I don't know what it's like where you are, my friends. My wee parish. But yes, it's been a very slow. I've just said goodbye to. I had a visitor. It was my clerk of work's mother. She probably isn't watching, although I do believe she does subscribe. So she popped in for a cuppa and a chin wag. So she's just gone. We have some airflow, which is good. It means I can spark up. Anyway, I'm sat here by candlelight. Well, you probably can't see it really where you are. It's quite dim in here, really. Very soggy day. But Jan was staying up at the gliding club, which is up the mountain. And they had a farmer's supper all evening last night, and so she stayed on for that and popped in on the way back home to Wales. What am I smoking? Sillam's Black. And I'm ready for a smoke, frankly. I hope you're all doing well. Has it been a week or 2 weeks? I can't remember since the last one. And I asked you about the meaning of life. This is about the meaning of life too, and I shall get onto it shortly. For those of you tuned in for spiritual wisdom, you're going to have to wait. Or turn off now. Because I like to potter. I don't like doing anything in a hurry, which rather lends itself to the Zen I try to practice, after a fashion, and in a very Christian sort of fashion, I like to think. If not Catholic fashion. And you said passion then, is there such a thing as Catholic passion? It's almost not a tautology, a paradox or something, or an irony, I'm not entirely sure what, or which. I'm hoping you can hear me. I did have my furry ball on, but I'm rather concerned that it wasn't picking up, because I couldn't hear anything during playback, but then I don't think there's audio on the playback of this anyway, so... But I didn't want to spout on for 35 minutes and then find that all you've done is just get the picture of me and, you know. So I've pulled out my furry ball and lodged it elsewhere. Right, so I've got my Sillam's Black in. It's a really good mainstay. The odd thing was, when I first tried Sillam's Black, I wasn't entirely convinced. And now, it is very much part of my 5 a day, if you will. Not that I'm counting. Right, I'm locked and loaded. Oh, I had something I wanted to show you. I'll do that in a bit. Let's just get this thing going, shall we? I've got a couple of things I want to show you. I don't need that. I need my Zippo. This is pear wood, this pipe. I suppose the good thing about not having my furry ball on is that you don't hear me slurping so much. And I hope the videos and the audio is sufficient for this video that I'm doing tonight. Well, afternoon really, late afternoon. On the Sunday. Have I got a tamper with me? Yes, I have a tamper. Oh. Good smoker, this. Anyway, what's been going on? Had a guest. I got a different car. You remember I had that chimney? Bloody disaster. I never knew when the four-wheel drive was on or not because it never came up on the dashboard. And so I persuaded the car sale room to take the bloody thing back. And I said, I need a four-wheel... They didn't have any four-wheel drives, really. And of course I spotted another bloody Cougar. Well, I'd part X to Cougar for the Jimny. Suzuki Jimny. But they had a younger model. So effectively I traded in an older Cougar for a younger Cougar. And I have to say I'm quite pleased with it so far. Although this Cougar is black. The other one was a sort of a metallic silver, I suppose. Anyway, it's younger, less mileage, and it's got more sort of bells and whistles, I suppose you'd call them. Anyway, I don't care what it's got, as long as it gets me up my track and onto that road, and I can go about my business. It was awful to drive, the Jimny. I mean, it rattles along. You felt every bump. No noise insulation. It was like driving around in a sardine can. I don't know why people rave about them. Four-wheel drive is so iffy and always breaking down on the bloody things. They are rust buckets. But they have a following, and it's a cult following. So that's I had those dramas played out over the weekend. There'd been no other dramas. I had a lovely soak in the hot tub the other night. I tend to go in at night when it's all dark and I just listen to the owls. And I've got these lovely like Japanese lanterns on a bough of a tree that overhangs the hot tub. I sit there in the steaming hot water, naked as the day I was born, revelling in nature. Anyway, what am I looking for now? So I've been doing a bit of that. I went out the other day, because the Jimny was so bloody unsatisfactory, and I knew I was going to send it back. I've not been going out. I haven't been quite stir crazy, but I just thought this can't be healthy. So I took the Cougar out for a maiden voyage. I went to Bishop's Castle, and I did a bit of shopping, and I've got something to show you. I bought 2 items. Always like to buy something when I'm there. And yes, I will get on to the topic of the video. Well, it won't be very deep. My chats never are. But it's extraordinary how many people seem to find them helpful in this chaotic world we live in. I wonder if I've got the... Anyway, I bought two things. One was a crocodile vanity case that belonged to an opera singer. She left a card in it. Soprano, don't you know? And then it's a ladies' case. They did do a gentleman's sort of vanity case, but I don't suppose they use the word vanity, where males, they reserve that solely for the females, which is rather sexist. Men didn't have vanity cases, they just had gentlemen's overnight bags. Women had vanity cases. You see, wherever you go, you come across this this passive... Where is this thing? Oh, I don't know if I can get it going though. It's well, for reasons I shall explain. It was in my pocket. Anyway, I bought a lighter in the antique shop. Enough of the vanity case, which was gorgeous. I'm going to put my old camera lenses in it. Feast your eyes on this. It's going to come up on the video. Should do. It's a rather nice lighter. Let me just get rid of this for a minute. That's the only thing with these, you can't clench them really. So you've got to put them down. Let me try and show you this thing. If I put my hand behind it, you might see it better. I don't know, maybe you won't. It's in the shape of a book. It's a lighter made during the First World War in the trenches. They're called, it's called trench art, isn't it? Anyway, you simply lift up there, like so, look. What about that? And I don't think that's making any difference to anything, is it? Quite simple contraptions. The only problem with it is I can't find anywhere that you might describe as a reservoir for the butane. So what I've been doing is taking out the striker unit and just pouring it in there. But there you go, look. What do you think of that? And then you just shut the book. There's your book all shut, and there's your lighter, my friends. Nice thing. I had a barking him down. I got it for half what he wanted. If any of you chime into this channel very often, you will realise that I don't like paying the full price for anything. So I got those two items in Bishop's Castle. Managed to fill the Cougar up. It was running very low on fuel. Been driven all the way from Birmingham. And we did the exchange at the top of the track. But there was no major issues. Some warning lights came on and off, and you know they have sensors for everything, don't they? And one said something like engine service or something warning. I don't know. Did it say service or just engine? I don't know what it was. Maybe it just means it needs a service, the car. I don't think it meant that the car's about to blow up. I hope not. And then there was all sorts of things about the four-wheel drive overheating, and then said four-wheel drive come back on again. So lots of warnings. But as I say, as long as it gets me up the track and I can get my shopping done and you know my bits and bobs, I'm not bothered really. But but this is very temperamental. As I say, it's you know, it is what it is. It's not a pipe lighter. But it's got this alive. Anyway, to get business out of the way before I descend into platitudes and spiritualia, I mentioned Richard Bobes. Now he's very busy, not least because he's on the land, but he has published a book, this book, Biggleswick, The Town That Wouldn't Comply, Richard Vobes. Now, I haven't read it yet. It's a very well produced volume, by the way. Dust cover. That's his lovely other half, his better half. The lovely Julia on back. Now, I haven't had time to read it, it's only just arrived, literally arrived. So I can't review it, but what I can say is the book is very well put together. It seems to be quite well structured in terms of writing and content. But also it's an old-fashioned type of book. It's Smith sewn, as we say in the trade, with proper like string and proper paper. And it's a nice cream rather than brilliant white. And with a dust cover, hardback, etc. If you want a copy, go over to Richard Vobes' channel. And he has videos about the book. But I think he's got a website called richard@vobes.me. If you want to buy it, I think you can register interest there. He's marketing them himself, so he's doing it all from his back bedroom, which has been the scene of much activity through the years, because he used to have his studio in there. He's had to dismantle it in order to put all these books, you see, because he's not doing them print on demand. He's actually physically got the books. So anyway, do have a look. Good fellow. And he's always been very kind to me. Now, when it comes to daily life here, I've spoken about the meaning of life, haven't I? I think the first one, when I talked about the meaning of life, was I was talking about the transitory nature of life. And that everything ebbs and flows, everything comes and goes. You get highs and lows, good days and bad days. Nothing remains the same, does it? Life comes and goes, health comes and goes, relationships come and go, houses come and go. Very few fixed points. But on my second video, The Meaning of Life, I talked about anchors and fixed points, and I talked about God, and I talked about the soul, if you like, or one's true essence, one's being, which is unvarnished by all the accretions that we think are ourselves, but then when they're not at all. As they often say, you know, my name is not me, because I could change my name, my Deeple, but I'd present to you exactly as I am now. So I cannot be my name entirely. Your skin apparently changes every 7 years. The skin on that hand will not be the skin on my hand if I live another 7 years. It'll be totally replaced by then. Which is a remarkable thought, and I suspect it's the same for all of our organs. So even our bodies are subject to change, our names are subject to change, so I can't be my name, I can't be my body as it is now, because that's going to change. You could say, well, maybe your personality is the real you. Personalities can change, character traits can change. I mean, look at Charles Dickens. We're coming up to that season now, aren't we? The Christmas Carol. Scrooge, he changed. So people change. Your character can change. Introverted people can come out of their shell. Everything is subject to change. And so I talked about that really on the second video, the second one on the meaning of life. But what I want to address today is the question of showing up. The meaning of life, showing up. Which is just another way of saying be present. Show up. When I was an actor, they used to ask people, what's the secret of being a good actor? And they just said to show up, do the work. But I maintain today there are very few people who actually show up. Because you can only ever show up, can't you, in the present moment? You can only be present in the present moment. You can't show up in the future because the future hasn't arrived. You might have shown up in the past, but that's not showing up. That's in the past. It's a remembrance. And of course, most people spend all their time either recriminating about the past or being anxious about the future. But what I want to deal with primarily today is the present moment. I mean, I'm sat here in front of you. This is the present moment. Glass of claret in one hand and a pipe in the other. As I sit here, that is my only reality. Nothing else exists. Just this present moment now, before you. Am I feeling anxious? No. Am I feeling happy? Yes. Joyful even. I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I'm not thinking about this evening. I'm not thinking about yesterday. I'm just sat here. I've showed up, basically. I'm present. I'm present to you, the viewer, right now in this moment. And hopefully you who are watching this video, you are equally present here with me. We're both present. Both showed up. Because there are a lot of people who don't show up, and there are a lot of people who are not present. There's nothing more infuriating than if one finds oneself at a cocktail party, and the person you're talking to is looking over your shoulder to see who else is there, or perhaps seeking out more interesting company. You see, they're not present with you. Physically, they may appear present, but they're not present. They haven't showed up. And you could repeat that parallel in other areas of life. You could be driving your car and not show up, not be present. You could be daydreaming until you bump into another car. That'll wake you up. You'll be present then. You'll be present when the policeman taps on the window. And sometimes we do need to wake up. We do need a spiritual policeman to knock on our window to wake us up. And sometimes the events of life will just do that. You'll have sudden bereavements, sudden illnesses, sudden financial cataclysms. And you have to wake up, don't you? There's nothing like having your degree or your A-levels the next day to wake you up and do a bit of revision. There are things that make us wake up. In Japanese Zen, when they're meditating, there's a guy that goes along with a stick. And if you lean forward like that, he comes along and whacks you over the back with it to wake you up. It's because you recognise you're feeling a bit dozy, or you've been daydreaming, and you need a short, sharp shock to wake you up. And you don't have to look for it. Life will wake you up, one way or the other. The secret is not being caught out, isn't it? But what I want to talk about is just the art of showing up, of being present. Because it leads on to what I talk about when I discuss meditation. Because in meditation, that is the supreme act of showing up. Because when one sits down on one's meditation cushion or sits in a chair to meditate, formally that is, you're not daydreaming, you haven't got your eyes shut and you're dozing off. The idea is to be totally aware and totally in the present moment. Not thinking about the past, not ruminating about what's going to happen in the future. Any thoughts that arise, you allow them to drift away, percolate, and off they go. Don't follow them, don't pursue them. Don't beat yourself up because you've had a thought. Some people do that, beginners in meditation, because they think, oh, I failed at Zen, I failed at meditation. You haven't failed. That's totally natural. What isn't to be done is to go charging after the thought. And before you know it, you spent 5 minutes thinking about your next building project or and what you're going to achieve and what you're going to do and what you're going to say to Mrs. So-and-so who annoyed you the other day. Now that tells me I've got about 5 minutes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the video off temporarily and turn it back on again, then I don't have to worry about time. Right, let me put my specs on just to make sure I've pressed all the right buttons. Yeah, something's going on down there. Anyway, so yes, you have to turn up, you have to be present. Sometimes you'll be woken up, whether you like it or not, but meditation is where you've set a small segment of your day apart, and you don't have to be long. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes it's 20. It goes on. Some people like to do it for 40 minutes. And you can meditate, of course, while you're walking along. And people often do that. Well, they break up their meditation periods by a period of what they call walking meditation. And I do it on a daily basis, as you know. And there is nothing more to it than that, other than being present. It's the simplest thing in the world to do, and it's the hardest thing in the world to do. Because people inhabit their thoughts, they live in their heads. And we live in a world now where we're overstimulated. I have decided to do less digital and do more analogue. You'll know that I take old-fashioned pictures with film cameras. But not just that, in other areas too. I've taken to turning the TV off early. Just watch it for one film and off it goes. I've got a curfew on internet time usage. So I'm not looking at blue screens before bed. I'm quite strict with myself now, and I'm doing that for a reason, because I'm wanting my meditation to bleed into the rest of my day, because it is a way of life. It's not just that 15 minutes on the meditation cushion. I'm looking over there at my meditation corner. And of course you can commute what you do on the cushion into your everyday life. So, for example, when I wash up, for example, it's very easy to think about what you're going to do that night, or think about something, or think about that, think about the other, and your minds wander as you're washing the dishes up. What I tend to do now is I practice a sort of a Zen. I don't think about anything when I just concentrate on what I'm doing. In fact, that was one of the sort of definitions of Zen, that when you wash the dishes, just wash the dishes. When you clean the car, just clean the car. When you mow the lawn, just mow the lawn. You see what I mean? What you do is you bring your intention, your attention entirely to what you're doing in the present moment. You're not outside in your head, spiraling off into worlds that don't exist at the moment. You're fully present. And it's a good practice, because one of the things I find is that if you're struggling, I don't know if any of you are struggling with anxiety or depression, but what you may find, or meaning in life even, which is the title of the video, you'll find that if you inhabit the present moment and stop thinking, as it were, or allow your thoughts to evaporate and disappear and move on, and just inhabit the peace, the space that is between, or I should say in front of the thought. Have you ever thought about that? What is that space before the thought? What's in that space? That's where the work's done. In that space before thought. And that's where you have to inhabit. So you're aware of your breathing, you're aware of your body, you're aware of your smell, senses, sound, and you're fully immersed in the present moment. And you're not being yanked this way, yanked that way anyway. You refuse to be yanked in any direction. You just stay where you are. You show up. You do the work like the actors. You're present. You're present to whatever that reality is we call life. You can involve God if you want, or not involve God, as some Buddhists don't. There's all sorts of things you can and can't do, but essentially it's always the same. It is turning up. It's being present. It is sitting with yourself or with your creator, in my case, I would think, in terms of that. Being surrounded by those creative energies, that wonderful love that totally encircles one as one sits to meditate. And I just bask in God's presence. You could call it the Holy Spirit, I don't know. But whatever it is, it's entirely passive in that sense. You just allow. You don't do anything. You're a human being, not a human doing. So you're present. Be present. You're a human being. Experience your being, not your name given to you or on your birth certificate, not your body particularly, because that won't be perfect. Don't concentrate on any, just your being, that central part within you. As you breathe in and out, you're just totally aware that there is something within you, and it's warm and it hums, and you can feel almost a vibration, that inner essence, that inner aliveness, and you sit with it. Those are the only two things you need to do to be a good meditator, if there is such a thing as good. There is no concept of good or bad. The fact you're doing it at all is good. In fact, there was a Japanese master who imported Zen to Japan, Dogen, and he believed that enlightenment was just the act of just sitting there and being present. It's called shikantatsa in Japan. And that's all there is to it. And you have what they call in Japanese a non-striving mind. Don't sit down thinking, I must do this, and is my head, am I doing this right? Am I meditating correctly? There's none of that. There's no striving. There should be no striving. It's entirely relaxing into the posture. You are awake, you're alert, you're erect, but you're grounded and you're seated and you're stable. And the only thing that's really going on is that wonderful circle of life, that circle of breath in and out. Tells you that you're alive, and you just sit with it. Don't follow the thoughts. Try and inhabit that place before the thoughts, and suddenly you'll find in that present moment there is a certain degree of peace. It might not be for some people who are new to it. All sorts of stuff might arise, but ultimately I think most people's experience is one of peace. Now, as I said before, that's okay for the 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes that you're sat on your meditation cushion, or you're sat on a chair. You can do it lying down, apparently. Apparently the Japanese don't like you doing it that way. But you can commute it into your daily life, as I've alluded to. And you may say, well, that's all right, Father John. What's the point, though? Doesn't get anything done. You sat on your ass. I'm a doer. I like to get things done. Sitting around meditating. And of course, I'm not forcing anybody to do it. It's those people who feel that it might be beneficial to them. Because when you're feeling anxious or agitated, that sense of dukkha, as I spoke in my last video, of that feeling of being unsatisfactory, I can't get any satisfaction. Those are the times when you need to practice it. And allow all of those thoughts that are disturbing you. It's always a good salutary, to say, why am I annoyed at the moment? Why am I fed up? Why am I feeling a bit agitated? And suddenly it will occur to you why you're feeling agitated. It might be a particular worry or person or something, or situation. But then if you stop thinking about it, say, well, I'm not going to think about that person or that situation or anything else. Just let them slip away, and then ask yourself, what now exists? Where is that anxiety? Where's it gone? Because it's always attached to a thought, isn't it? But if you're inhabiting your being with no mind, mushin, there's nothing to ruminate about, nothing to do. You're just perfect. You're utterly whole and perfect as you sit there, having shown up, having been present. I know this all sounds terribly spiritual or terribly difficult, but it's not really. And I think in this world where we're overstimulated, I mentioned analog, didn't I? Nowadays, where everybody is doom scrolling through their media on their iPhones and iPads and laptops, doom scrolling through YouTube, going from video to video to video to video, getting information overload, where they're sitting up with artificial lighting all night, imbibing in various intoxicants, which are okay in moderation, of course, but some don't. when we're overstimulated, our brains over rev. You know, the cogs in our brain totally over rev. And we wonder why we're nervous and agitated and feeling uneasy within ourselves. That's for you guys, this video, to tell you or help you or inform you how to scroll it all back, rein it back in, rein all that bit, turn all that stuff off, rein it back in, and get to the point where you just turn up to the present moment. Show up to the present moment. Stop being yanked around by everything. Turn it off. Turn it all off. And show up. And then what you'll find is, you'll doom scroll less. You'll want to watch TV less. You'll want to check your phone less. You won't feel that you're not living life by just sitting and feeling and experiencing, and that, oh, I must be doing this, I must go out that, oh, I must go and clean this, I must go, oh no, I should be doing this, is a waste of time, oh, maybe I should read a book, maybe I need to be doing something, otherwise my life doesn't add up to anything. No, your life adds up to everything it needs to add up to by you just sitting where you are now and turning up, being present. Inhabit this very moment. Anyway, I think I've probably said enough on the subject, haven't I? I'm enjoying my pipe. I'm making a bit of a meal out of it. It's difficult when you can't put it down. And but this is principally what I've been thinking about lately. I will actually show you my sort of Zen setup. Well, it's Christian Zen, really. Zen doesn't really mean very much. It means meditation. But people think, oh, that's all that weird stuff, isn't it? It's not really, no. And anyway, I will explore further themes, you know, as I go on in the series. But I thought I'd leave you with that today, and I've given you a bit of an update. I hope you're all having a, what day is it, Sunday? Yes, I did, I said Mass this morning. Yeah, I mean, I hope you have a great weekend, what's left of it. Enjoy your evening, and I will see you on the next video, my wee parish of misfits, miscreants, misshapen, and misunderstood. And so until the next time, God bless you all, God go with you, and have a nice evening. All the best, Father John, signing out.